Hi, this is Anthony Gettig with the Pro Tools for VoiceOver blog. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to create what I call a killer voiceover template for Pro Tools. There's another video where I create a very basic template. Well, we're going to take those ideas and really expand upon them. Okay. So unless you have the quick start dialog already up there, you'll go up here and choose File, New Session. What we're going to do is create the session that we want just the way we like it, so that every time we open a new session, we want it to look just like that. We're going to save that as a template. So here we go. Again, File, New Session, Wave, 16-bit, that's fine. Sample rate 44.1. Again, the only catch here, if you're doing a lot of video, you may want to set that to 48K. And I/O settings are for my interface, which is a Fast Track C600 right now. I'm going to say OK. It's going to ask me where to save it. I'm going to call it my Killer VO template. That's just, we got to save it somewhere to create it. We'll end up toasting that later anyways after it's saved as a template. Okay, so we're going to come in here and create 5 different tracks. I'll explain what they are as we go along. So I'll go up to Track and then New. First thing we're going to do is create 3 mono audio tracks. Add another row to create 2 new mono aux inputs. And click Create. All right, there we go. Now we want to come over here and name these right away. Our first audio track we're going to name Raw. This is just the raw voiceover with no processing whatsoever. And then come over here and we'll rename track number 2. We're going to call this EQ and Gate. And accordingly, we'll add a little comment here to say this will have an EQ and Gate applied. There we go. I click Next, and let's create, rather than name the next track, we're going to call this Broadcast. So this is going to have EQ, Gate, compression, and mastering. Alrighty. Now, so those are the 3 tracks. Again, raw audio here. This track here is just going to have EQ and a noise gate. This one's going to be loaded up pretty good. Let's name our aux tracks. Aux 1, we're going to make this very simply the EQ and the gate aux. And then the next one is going to be our broadcast aux. Say OK. There we go. Right away, I see an issue. You want to set your track height here. I usually grab the zoom tool and then hold down Control and set it the way to about where I want it to be. There we go. Let's set those bad boys. There we go. That's good. Okay, now let's go over to the mix window. You can go up to Window and choose Mix, or you can hit Command equals or Control equals if you're on Windows. And there we go. We have our tracks. What we're going to do is set this up so that these 3 audio tracks receive input from the appropriate source, whether it's raw, whether it is EQ with a gate applied, or with the whole shebang. So let's get right into it. First of all, track 1, raw. C600 channel 1, that's fine. That's what I want. I just want the raw with no processing. That track is all set. Okay, now in order to do the next 2, we need to set up our aux tracks first. Let's look at the EQ and gate. What I'm going to do is very simply add an EQ. And again, I'm just going to go with factory defaults here with stuff. I'm going to choose a vocal, male vocal 7-band. The reason I'm doing that is my microphone does not have a roll-off switch for low end. So you can see here, this is rolling off the low end, adding a little presence here and there. I'm just going to stick with the factory defaults. You could tweak this to your heart's delight if you wanted to on your system. And then I'm going to add in a gate. And again, real simple, factory default, vocal expander. It's one of the things I really like about Pro Tools is the plugins are really mature and all their presets are, I mean, they've taken years to to get these about right, and it's good stuff. Okay, so there we go. I have this set up. First, it's going to run through EQ, then it's going to go through the gate. The order in which these are listed here is the order in which they get processed. So now that we know what the processing is, we have to tell it what are we going to process and where we're going to send it. So here you go. Our input for this AUX is going to be the channel 1 on my interface, which is my microphone. Great. So this is the same signal, same input as the raw track, okay? But it's going to have all this stuff applied to it. The output, this is what we're really interested in here. The output, we're going to send the output to a bus, a mono bus, bus 1. Remember that, bus 1. So it takes the same microphone signal, does this stuff to it, and outputs it to an internal routing mechanism called a bus. And so it's going to output to bus 1. We come over here to our EQ and gate track. We're going to tell the input of this track to be bus 1. Yeah. So all this stuff happens and then shows up over here on this track, right? It's kind of like, it's almost like Pro Tools has a patch bay inside of it, and you're just moving the wires around to tell this to go there and that to go there. So, okay, so we've got that down for this one. Now we have to set up our broadcast AUX. Could I just very simply tell the input here to be bus 1 and then add extra processing? Yeah, I could. I'm not going to do that though. I'm actually just going to recreate the whole thing. I'm going to tell it to be my microphone input, and I'm going to come up here and add the same plugins, okay? Yes, I know I could, there's a keyboard shortcut to copy and move these all over, but I think it's good to see all these again. Again, the male vocal 7-band going into the gate. There we go. Very simple vocal expander. And now I'm going to add a compressor to the mix. Again, going with the factory defaults, just going to level things off a bit, which provides a 3-to-1 ratio. It's fine. And then one more plugin, a dynamics called Maxim. And this just, I don't know, it's kind of like normalizing, but I just choose the CD mastering preset, and there we go. Alrighty, so our microphone coming in on channel 1 is going to go through all this stuff in that order. Now we're going to output this to bus 2. All right, so this one's going out to bus 1, this one's going to bus 2. So of course we're going to come over here to our broadcast track, tell the input to be bus 2. Okay, let's step back and take a look here. Our raw VO track, the input is very simply the microphone. On our EQ gate track, the input is bus 1, which is our EQ and gate AUX, is doing all this processing, outputting it to bus 1, and we're going to take that as the input for this track. And our broadcast track, nice and punchy and full and probably over-processed. Bus 2 is the input there because we've got that coming on this AUX track, sends it out to bus 2, and then that becomes the input over here. So again, it's kind of like there's a patch bay and there's just wires going from here to there and from there to here inside of Pro Tools. Okay, I think we're pretty well set up here. Let's come back over here to the edit window. I like to resize my tracks a little bit. To be honest, a lot of times I use the EQ and gate one just because then I can add additional processing later if I wanted to. And we can make these, well, maybe not that small. There we go. We'll just make these smaller. And I like these to start off muted. Okay, we're good to go there. Now, let's add a few assets to this to help us out here. One thing I like to do is, I'm a visual guy, so what I'll do is create here, I'm going to create, just selecting a bunch here, and probably ought to zoom in a little bit. There we go. I'm going to select like 15 seconds. There we go. All right, this is just 15 seconds of nothing, okay? I'm going to then come up here and I'm going to consolidate this into a clip. So go up to Edit and then Consolidate Clip. Boom. I have 15 seconds of nothing. Okay. And I'm going to name this 15-second slug. This way when I'm recording and I just want to get a visual of, how long is this? That just helps me to see that. Okay, now I want a 30-second one. So I'm going to come over here and duplicate this clip by hitting Command D on my keyboard. And then I'll consolidate those. Make one. I'm going to call this 30-second slug. Hey, hey. Again, I'm working on a 30-second spot. There we go. I can get kind of a visual of what that ought to be. Now, you guessed it. Yep, got to do a 60. So here we go. We'll call this our 60-second slug. All right. So I'm going to delete that now. But you'll see over here in the clips list, those are there. And when we save the template, we're going to save these with it. By the same token, say you had some standard music beds that you used, or some jingles that you did the insert for the donut or something like that. This is great. I mean, you could just save those in here with the template, and that way, every time you start a new session for that client, those assets are ready to roll. Okay, I think we have our session set up pretty much the way we want it here. So we're going to save this as a template. Come up here to File, Save As Template. And we're going to install it into our VO templates category. I've got other categories here, some of which come with Pro Tools. Some of them are custom created, like VO templates. Name Killer VO template, that's fine. I'm just going to leave it like that. I say OK. Now, one thing I didn't do there that I wanted to, we're going to save that as a template again, is to include the media. Okay, so include the media. We're going to, that way all of those little clips, the 15, 30, and 60-second slugs get saved. Say OK, and there we go. Alrighty. We can now close this session. File, close session, no need to save it. And in fact, you see it here on the desktop. I can actually just come over here and trash that right now. So now let's come up here and choose New Session, File, and then New Session. And we will see there's our Killer VO template. All right. So yeah, let's go for it. We can change any of these parameters if we wanted to. I'm going to say OK. Where do we want to save it? Again, we'll save it to the desktop. I'm going to call this my broadcast session. I don't know. Hit save. It creates everything. And there we go. We've got our new session up and running. We have our raw, our EQ, our broadcast tracks. Great. We are ready to roll. Now, you'll also see over here we have the clips, the 15, the 30, and the 60. So say I'm working on a 30-second something. I'm just going to use my EQ and gate, or better yet, let's say I'm going to use broadcast. Just move that baby up here. Open it up a little bit. Well, you get the idea. So now I just want to focus on this 30 seconds where I'm going to be recording. I can get a visual idea after my editing. Am I within the 30? Yes, I know I can select it and see the exact time and whatnot. But again, I'm a visual guy. This stuff helps me. Anyways, so there you go. There's a more complex voiceover template if you need to record raw audio, if you need to record broadcast ready, or just, slightly processed with some EQ and some noise gate applied. You got a template that will help you do that for any of those scenarios. Again, this is by no means exhaustive or comprehensive. I mean, sky's the limit here. I mean, use your creativity. You can scale this down. You can scale it up, whatever you want to do. I hope it is of use to you. Take care, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.